Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. This time, we're looking at Quicksilver
Quicksilver.
by Callie Hart,
Yes.
the first book in her Fan Alchemy series. We've gathered a bunch of book reviews, and our mission is to kind of get a feel for the book and, without giving anything away, figure out if this is something that you would love.
Right.
So no spoilers.
Just vibes.
Yeah, just vibes. Help you decide if Quicksilver deserves a spot on your TBR.
Definitely. And from what I'm seeing, this book is really generating some buzz online, especially among Sarah J. Maas fans.
Okay.
Some reviewers are even saying it's more captivating than other recent releases in the fantasy romance genre.
Oh, wow. I've heard of Sarah J. Maas. She's known for those sweeping
Yeah.
epic fantasies, right?
Yes.
And strong female leads.
Yeah.
So is this comparison to her work just hype?
Okay.
Or does Quicksilver actually offer a similar reading experience?
Well, I think comparisons to these big-name authors are always a smart marketing move.
Right.
But in this case, it seems like reviewers are genuinely seeing these parallels. Okay. Particularly when it comes to the fast-paced plot and the emphasis on a powerful female protagonist, like you were saying.
Yeah, okay. Fast-paced
Mm-hmm.
makes it sound like things get going pretty quickly.
Right.
Can you set the scene for us? Like, what's the initial setup in Quicksilver?
So the book throws you right into the action. We meet Saeris. Saeris. She is a skilled thief. She's navigating this brutal desert world ruled by the tyrannical Undying Queen.
Ooh, okay.
And in a dramatic opening scene, she's captured and imprisoned.
Wow. Talk about start with a bang. One reviewer even mentioned a sword in the stone vibe.
Mm-hmm.
Does that play a big part in the story at all?
It's definitely central to the story. This isn't just any sword.
Right.
It's forged from Quicksilver, which is a sentient metal
Oh,
that only certain people can manipulate.
okay.
And it turns out Saeris has that very rare ability.
Now that's interesting. Sentient metal.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's alive.
Hmm.
How does that ability make her powerful?
Well, think of it this way. She's not just wielding a weapon. She's collaborating with it.
Okay.
Quicksilver responds to her will, allowing her to craft these unique magical objects. This makes her incredibly powerful.
Oh.
And some reviewers suggest that she might be the only one who can defeat this terrifying vampire king who's been causing chaos.
Okay, a powerful heroine,
Mm-hmm.
a sentient metal,
Mm-hmm.
and a vampire king. You've definitely got my attention.
Good.
But what about the romance?
Okay.
The reviewers seem to be swooning over it.
Yes. So Kingfisher, the Fey warrior who rescues Saeris, is being compared to rice sand
Okay.
from Moss's A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Yeah.
But maybe even grumpier. He's described as this broody, shadow magic wielding warrior.
Okay.
And there's a fated mates element, so their connection is deep and unavoidable.
Interesting.
Plus, there's a bargain that forces them into close proximity. Always a good recipe for romantic tension.
A grumpy Fey warrior
Yeah,
and a fated mates trope.
you got it.
Color me intrigued. Does this bargain mean the romance is like a major focus, or is it balanced with other plot elements?
Well, the reviewers emphasize the sizzling chemistry and the romantic tension,
Yeah.
but they make it very clear that it doesn't eclipse the other elements of the story.
Okay.
There's also political intrigue, a unique magic system, this alchemy that's tied to the Quicksilver,
Yeah.
and really intricate world building. We're talking a harsh desert landscape, a kingdom nestled in the frozen mountains.
Right.
There's a lot to explore beyond the romance.
That's good to know. Not that I'm against a little romance,
Sure.
but it's great to hear there's substance beyond that.
Yeah.
Did any of the reviews mention anything negative?
Mhm.
Like, were there aspects that just didn't work for some readers?
Yeah, so some reviewers did find the plot a bit predictable,
Okay.
relying on some familiar tropes. A few also criticized the writing style,
Okay.
mentioning things like excessive swearing and the use of a single first-person perspective, which can sometimes feel limiting.
Right.
So,
So we got the good, fast-paced plot, unique magic system, a dash of romance, and then the potentially not so good, predictable elements and writing style quirks.
Right.
What do you think? Is this something you would recommend diving into?
If you're a fan of fantasy romance,
Okay.
especially if you enjoy fae, vampires, and powerful heroines, then Quicksilver is definitely worth considering.
Okay.
Just be prepared for some of those familiar tropes and those stylistic choices that might not be for everyone.
Right.
Ultimately, it comes down to what you as a reader are looking for in a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
What aspects of Quicksilver stood out to you?
Honestly, I think the sentient Quicksilver metal is really capturing my imagination.
Interesting.
It's like a magical substance with its own will. That's not something you see every day.
Definitely not.
And I have to admit, I am always drawn to stories with those powerful female characters
Yeah.
who kind of defy expectations.
It is a fascinating concept.
Right.
You know, Saeris not only manipulates the Quicksilver,
Hmm.
she has to negotiate with it.
Right.
Almost like a partner in creation. That's what's so unique about this.
Right.
She's not just controlling magic, she's collaborating with it.
Exactly. And this desert world,
Yes.
ruled by an undying queen.
Yes.
What makes her undying? Is it immortality or is it something else entirely? It just sounds like there are these layers of mystery we haven't even touched on yet.
That's what I love about fantasy, you know?
Yeah.
The potential for world building is just endless.
Mm-hmm.
And from these reviews, it seems like Callie Hart has created a truly immersive and imaginative world in Quicksilver.
Right.
One that's definitely worth exploring further. It seems like there's more to Saeris than meets the eye.
Okay.
Some reviewers hinted that she might have
Well, yeah.
Fae blood running through her veins.
Really?
Yeah. They were a little vague on the details,
Okay.
but they suggested this connection to the Fae realm might explain her affinity for Quicksilver
Interesting.
and could manifest in some pretty unexpected ways as the story unfolds.
Hold on, Fae heritage?
Mm-hmm.
That changes things.
Right.
Could this mean she developed some cool Fae powers
Potentially.
as the story unfolds, like
Cool.
shape-shifting or control over the elements?
Yeah.
That would definitely make her a formidable opponent against that vampire king.
It's a definite possibility. And imagine the implications for the romance.
Oh, right.
If Saeris has Fae blood,
Okay.
it would deepen her connection with Kingfisher.
You're right.
Wow.
That adds another layer to their dynamic.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you mentioned a stark contrast between the landscapes
Yeah.
of Saeris' world,
Mm-hmm.
the third,
Mm-hmm.
and Kingfisher's realm in the mountains.
Right.
Can you paint us a more vivid picture of those places?
So imagine this. The third is this brutal, unforgiving desert
Okay.
where survival is a daily struggle. The twin suns beat down mercilessly,
Oh, wow.
and water is scarce.
Yeah.
A place that really hardens its people.
Wow.
Then you have Kingfisher's kingdom,
Okay.
a realm of towering snow-capped peaks,
Okay.
icy waterfalls, crystal clear lakes. Reviewers describe it as a place of wild, almost ethereal beauty, just steeped in ancient magic.
Wow, those settings sound incredible.
Right.
It's like the harsh reality of the desert versus the enchanting beauty of the Fae realm.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder how these two worlds even collide.
Well, remember that portal Saeris accidentally opens while fighting for her life?
Yeah.
That's her gateway to the Fae realm.
Oh, right.
To Kingfisher's world. It seems there's this delicate balance between these realms.
Mhm.
One that's threatened by the rise of the Vampire King
Okay.
and his army of the undead.
Okay, so the fate of both worlds kind of hangs in the balance.
It does.
That raises the stakes considerably.
Definitely.
Tell me more about this vampire king. What makes him such a terrifying antagonist?
So the reviewers were pretty tight-lipped about the specifics of his powers.
Okay.
But it sounds like he's been amassing this army of the undead for centuries,
Okay.
preparing for this war that could consume both the human and the Fae realms.
Oh, wow.
He's painted as this embodiment of darkness and destruction.
That sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
It seems like Saeris and Kingfisher have a tough battle ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
But remember her unique ability to manipulate Quicksilver.
Right.
It seems like that could be the key to kind of forging powerful weapons and artifacts
Right.
to turn the tide of the war.
Exactly. And it's not just about having the skill.
Right.
It's about gaining the trust and cooperation of this sentient metal.
Okay.
Reviewers highlight the challenges Saeris faces in mastering her craft.
Yeah.
She has to negotiate and collaborate with the Quicksilver.
Okay.
It's almost like a dance between her will and its own.
I love that idea of a partnership between, like, the human and the magical.
Mm-hmm.
It adds another layer of depth
It
to
does.
Saeris' journey.
Right.
But with all this talk about, like, epic battles and magical weapons,
Uh-huh.
we can't forget about the romance
Of course.
between Saeris and Kingfisher.
Right.
What can you tell us about their relationship?
From what I've gathered, it's a slow burn romance.
Okay.
Filled with tension and banter and undeniable chemistry. The reviewers describe it as this, like, compelling blend of attraction and conflict.
Slow burn, you say.
Yeah.
I'm all for a romance that simmers and builds.
Me too.
What kind of obstacles do Saeris and Kingfisher face in their relationship?
Okay.
I mean, besides the obvious,
Yeah.
a human and a Fae warrior from different worlds?
Well, there's the whole fated mates aspect.
Okay.
Which adds a sense of inevitability and intensity to their
Oh.
connection. But Remember that bargain that forces them into close proximity?
Yeah.
It seems Kingfisher needs Saeris' abilities to help him defeat the Vampire King.
Okay.
And in return, he offers her something she desperately wants.
What's that?
A way to save her people from the Undying Queen.
So their destinies are intertwined in more ways than one.
They are.
That's really interesting. But is Saeris entering this bargain solely to save her people? Or are there other motivations at play?
It seems her motives might be more complex than that.
Okay.
The reviewers hinted that she might have a personal vendetta against the Undying Queen.
Right.
A thirst for revenge that fuels her desire to strike this deal with Kingfisher.
Revenge. Now that adds a whole new layer of intrigue to Saeris' character.
Right.
It sounds like she's driven by this mix of like noble intentions and a darker desire for justice.
Yeah.
What a fascinating protagonist. It sounds like Saeris is a really complex character. Skilled thief, powerful alchemist, potentially part fae, and now driven by this desire for revenge. There's just like so much to unpack there.
Yeah.
But before we get too sidetracked, you mentioned a prophecy earlier. What's the significance of that in all of this?
Well, it seems there's this ancient prophecy that foretells the arrival of a powerful alchemist. One who could either save the world or destroy it.
Oh, wow.
And guess who might be that alchemist?
Let me guess. Saeris.
Our very own Saeris.
Whoa. That's a game changer.
Right.
So is she destined for greatness or destruction? Or is it a choice she has to make?
That's the beauty of a prophecy like this.
Yeah.
It doesn't offer a simple answer. It really just highlights the potential within Saeris, both for good and for evil. It suggests she has the power to shape the fate of these worlds, but the path she chooses is ultimately up to her.
That's a lot of pressure for one person.
It is.
It makes you wonder if, like, free will even exists in a world where prophecies loom so large.
Right, and let's not forget Kingfisher's role in all of this.
Right.
He's bound to influence Saeris, both as a mentor and as a potential love interest. Will he guide her towards the light, or will he inadvertently nudge her closer to the darkness?
Their relationship is already so complex. Fated mates, a bargain for power, navigating the clash of their worlds. If this prophecy is true, it just adds a whole other level of intensity to their dynamic.
Exactly. It makes you wonder if their bond is ultimately a blessing or a curse. Will it strengthen Saeris or become her downfall? That's what makes this story so compelling, you know? It's not just about romance or magic. It's about destiny, free will, and the choices we make when faced with this, like, unimaginable power.
Yeah, we've covered a lot. Fast-paced plot, a unique magic system with this sentient Quicksilver, a brooding Fey warrior, political intrigue, and a prophecy that could rewrite everything.
So much.
What's your biggest takeaway from all of this?
Whoa,
What's
yeah.
going to stick with you about Quicksilver?
Honestly, it's the concept of a sentient metal as the source of magic. That's what really sets the story apart for me.
Okay.
Quicksilver isn't just a tool. It's a character in itself.
Yeah.
One that Saeris has to understand and cooperate with. It adds such a unique dimension to the whole idea of magic and power.
I agree. It's not just about wielding magic. It's about, like, building a relationship with it, learning to work together. That's a really fresh take on a familiar fantasy trope.
It is. And on a deeper level, what resonates with me is Saeris' journey.
Okay.
You know, she begins as a thief in this harsh world, but she has this hidden power within her.
Right.
Through her encounters with Kingfisher, the Fey realm, and this Quicksilver, she discovers a strength and resilience she never knew she possessed. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of circumstances, we all have the potential for greatness.
So we've got a complex heroine on a journey of self-discovery, a unique magic system, a dash of romance, and a prophecy that throws everything into question.
Yeah.
It sounds like Quicksilver by Callie Hart might just be the escape you're looking for.
I think so. And if you're looking for a more immersive experience, you might want to check out the audiobook version.
Okay.
Audiobooks are a fantastic way to really experience a story, especially with these fantasy novels.
Right.
They can really bring those fantastical worlds and characters to life. Plus, you know, they make a great gift for the bookworm in your life.
That's a great point. And speaking of gifts, we've got a special treat for you. We've partnered with a publisher to offer a free audiobook download of Quicksilver for a limited time.
That's awesome.
You'll find the link in the comments. So if this deep dive has piqued your interest, you can dive right into the story without spending a dime.
That's amazing.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into fascinating topics. We're always on the lookout for new and exciting sources to explore and share with you.
We are.
And as always, we love to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments if you've read Quicksilver, or if it's now on your to-be-read list.
Yes.
We're always up for a good book discussion.
Always.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those imaginations firing.
And happy reading.
Bye, everyone.